Absolute beauty.
Beautiful people.
Oscar winner.
Fakhair Ali.
Sufism. Potential.
CPEC.
Umid.
Diverse culture.
Weddings.
Chabli kebab. अंडे वाला बर्गर.
Government.
मौसीकी.
कवालियाँ.
Coke Studio.
सकाफत हमारी पहचान.
पापड़ी चाट.
हमारी शनाख्त.
पीली पॉइंट. मिली नगमे.
मोहब्बत.
बड़ी ईद.
चाय वाला.
कल्चर.
गुलाब जामुन.
शकरकंदी.
पकौड़े.
Load shedding.
इस्लामाबाद.
Diversity.
नुसरत फतेह अली खान.
Vital signs.
Heritage.
हिफाजत.
Freedom.
माँ.
Home. Peace.
आर्मी.
वादिया ज़ियारत. तब्दीली.
Dynamics, dedication of young generation.
Alhamdulillah. It's a great country.
My country. सब कुछ.
हम सब का है.
पाकिस्तान हमारी पहचान है.
Love Pakistan. Serve Pakistan.
Dil Pakistan.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. That's the small promo that Ali has discussed earlier. It's not just a small journey. It's a journey that makes us realize what we are missing out by not identifying them. And I think the whole project is not about. It's not about telling good stories about Pakistan only. It's all about what we don't know about Pakistan, how we forget about small minor details within our country. So I think I'll start with in order with the same question. So Ali, when you heard about Pakistan, the word Pakistan, the name Pakistan, what comes on your mind?
So my story is a bit different. Because I'm an aeronautical engineer and I specialize in radars and avionics, aircraft electronics. As a young man growing up, I was very angry. I grew up in 12 cities because my father kept getting posted in different parts of the country. I remember being very angry at what was happening in Pakistan, especially after 2005, when terrorism became a huge problem. So when you asked me this question, had you asked me this question about 2 years ago, I would say something really hopeless and bad, that Pakistan is a disaster, Pakistan is doomed, nothing is working, look around you, look what happened in Mardan yesterday, and blah blah blah. But now, being a part of this project and having seen so much beauty, so much bravery, courage, and good in Pakistanis, I would say Pakistan means hope to me.
So, okay, sir.
Well, I think that's a very difficult question to answer, and that question has brought us to come up with the idea of Dil Say Pakistan, because if you ask yourself honestly, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word Pakistan? It's a difficult question. To me, Pakistan is Samina Beg. To me, Pakistan is Sharmeen. To me, Pakistan, as rightly said, is Shahid Afridi. To me, Pakistan is Malala Yousafzai. To me, Pakistan is Wasim Akram or whoever. So goes on and on. But one thing in all these names is common is that they are pride of Pakistan. So for me, Pakistan has never been a bomb blast destination. It has always been a PSL final last over destination. Because that moment, जो PSL का final का जो आखिरी over होता है, that is the moment your generation, most of yours generation has been looking for and longing for the last at least 15 years. And my generation had witnessed it in 1992 when we won the World Cup. So I have seen, dono wali generations ke dilemmas. So I think your generation has a right to experience more of PSL final one over moments, which we have done. So maybe that is what has brought me personally and my team, along with Aaron Abrar, Ali and Sharmeen Ubaid Chunai, together under the flag of Dil Say Pakistan. And trust me, it is possible. And I'm giving you my word, your generation is definitely going to experience much more of those moments.
Thank you, Tawseeq. Well, I think for me, with my background, my music background, and in the 90s with the band Avaz, and then as a solo artist in the 2000s, and then later as a creator and director and producer of Burqa Avenger, I have to say, my experience with Pakistanis is there's so much talent in Pakistan, incredible amount of talent. And I grew up in the 80s under Ziaul Haq, the dictatorship of Ziaul Haq, where music and art was suppressed. In fact, music was banned, pop music was banned on television. And it wasn't until the 90s that it got a chance to breathe, and then it burst forth.
At same time, in a parallel universe, we have to meet people from Hunza, Gilgit, New Karachi in Karachi, then Muaj Goat outside Karachi or suburbs of Karachi, you could say. So you'll hear different stories all the time. The first thing that comes in my mind, and after meeting all the people, is that we can and we will. And this is what comes into my mind. Because the issue that I face is like in previous session, there are so many questions people were asking from Daniel, but the main issue with us, with youth, and with rest of the people, that we don't ask questions on small things, small issues that are happening around us, and that will create that negative sphere where we are living in. But if we keep asking questions, I think we can overcome all the issues that are in our community. So let's take this discussion forward. So how was the experience so far? Because Ali is engaging with the youth all across Pakistan on ground.
The experience has been very good. It has been life-changing for me. Like I said, I'm an activist. Activists only like to talk about what they're against. They sometimes do not like to mention what they're for. And that was a huge gap as far as counter-extremism campaigning in Pakistan was concerned. Yes, I'm against that. Yes, I'm against that. What are you for? Come on, So having changed that perspective, having seen so many of narratives already present in this country that have countered extremism for centuries and centuries in this piece of land, I believe that I need to focus on those. I personally or academically like to call it cultural acupuncture. Some entry points within the culture of Pakistan exist that can be used as entry points for messaging against terrorism. For example, when 7 attack happened, I was there 2 days later with some of my colleagues. Shima Kirmani, the legendary dancer, came there to 7 and she danced. You might have seen the images, it went viral everywhere. So in that dance, Shima had found an entry point to campaign against extremism, and that was beautiful. She wasn't shouting, she wasn't wanting to burn down anything, and she was protesting in a way and using dance, which, like I say, is one of the cultural acupunctures that can be used for a better and a tolerant Pakistan.
So, Tawseeq sir.
Well, the experience obviously has been amazing. I've been filming and making documentaries for the last 28 years now. Speaks of my age. The experience filming for Dil Say Pakistan, we've done Gilgit-Baltistan and Sindh as for now, and we are going to film in Balochistan from coming 2 weeks. It has been great, it has been amazing. Again, I'll come to something I really like to say wherever we are talking about Dil Say Pakistan. It is a platform in this travelogue. I'm the lead person on a TV travelogue which you are going to watch on one of the TV channels. I'm not supposed to be unfolding the name right now, but a TV channel is going to show a nice travelogue called Dil Say Pakistan, where we are going to go and meet people in Pakistan who are doing something really big in their own small world. Maybe in a small goat in Kashmir, or maybe in a small village near Skardu, or at the border between Pakistan and China. So we have filmed those people and we have constructed a travelogue around the people. Usually travelogues are around food and places, nice places to capture. So we have filmed around people. So they are incredible people, as Aaron was saying, very talented. This travelogue is going to unfold in the coming 2 months on TV channels. So the experience has been immensely great, and brings me back to the point that increases my trust in this country and increases my trust for not leaving this country. I've had the options of moving out to US and Germany like many others, but I made it a point that I still believe in this society, in this country, and it's a beautiful society. Ali, you were referring to Mardan incident yesterday or day before. Yes, those are the incidents we have grown up with, but if people like us leave this country, I think that will not be fair to this society, and we have to stick along, we have to sing along, we have to dance along, we have to make campaigns like Dil Say Pakistan along.
Yeah. So Arun?
Absolutely, I agree with you, Tawseek, and I also just want to say, Danyal, I really enjoyed your session, and was very inspiring, and it would be wonderful if you maybe in some way participate in Dil Say Pakistan. It would be wonderful to have you.
The reason why we have invited him, that's because I've witnessed the way he's going all around Pakistan, across Pakistan. So
wonderful stories. And you mentioned that you were mugged 4 times, and all of them in Karachi. I've been mugged twice, and both times in Karachi as well. So I can feel your experience there. So with Dil Say Pakistan, one other thing that we're doing is there's dilsaypakistan.com. And that is an option for the public to get involved, for them to post their stories, for them to share, to make, to write blogs, to share video logs. And so you can go up there and you can subscribe for newsletters, and we're very active online on social media, on Facebook as well. So it's dilsaypakistan.com. And otherwise it's hashtag DSP campaign on all social media. So please do participate. It's all over, and Ali Zadi and his team are doing a fantastic job on that.
One thing I would like to add about the question that
Sure.
you asked earlier, Abrar. The experience was different for us. We are used to going to communities and working with them, but we usually go to them with a solution. This time we went to them with an idea. So when we went to them with an idea that Pakistan can be better, and you tell us how it can be better, and you tell us what can be done, what should be done in your community, and they come up with the idea. So it's a very bottom to top approach, and we absolutely love it because we do whatever is needed in that particular cultural, social dynamic. And that has really helped us understand the different kinds of conflicts in Pakistan, different kinds of narratives that are perpetuated, and so forth. Yeah.
actually, I think what I love doing in this entire campaign is when we have announced the categories for our festival, and there are 4 categories. One is culture, one is landmark, famous landmark or local landmark. So everybody knows about Minar-e-Pakistan, but nobody knows about a famous tree within Anarkali Bazaar where people are gathered around. There is a hotel near Mazang Chowk where all the dumb and deaf people gathered in the evening and they drink tea. So you'll see 300 dumb and deaf people talking very loud with their hand gestures. So these kind of stories you never got to hear, you never get to experience on television. So what we did was we have announced 4 categories, which one is local landmarks, unsung heroes from your surrounding. Don't tell me something about that people from Lahore would tell me stories about people who lives in Karachi, like a famous cricketer or a famous politician. So we asked them to find local heroes. And one major is food, culture and interfaith. So we have received so many films that was so shocking. Like it's a surprise, it's a good sign, but it's also shocking that we never know about our country that much. There is a lot is happening, and we only know the things that media is telling us or whatever we are reading on newspaper. So I think that was the great thing that happened during that campaign and the entire project. And after this discussion, we're gonna see some of the films that that came from different corners and parts of Pakistan. So the next question should be, how interesting is to identify local heroes, because one of the incident that happened, like there's this a story about a woman. She's from Multan, and you're gonna watch that documentary. The guy who made that film, he's here, Shahbaz. So she's deaf. Oh, sorry, she's blind, and she's teaching in Multan, Bahauddin Zakariya University, I think. And that film, like that film was like so inspiring for me. Like the entire film was about somebody who's teaching in the college, and it's so normal or it's very basic thing. But the moment they reveal that she's a blind lady, and it's altogether a different aspect of the story. So, did you find something very interesting within that campaign? Because this time we were not, again, as you have rightly said, that we were not giving out solutions. We were asking them to think about issues and find solutions themselves.
Yes, Abrar, amazing stories. We have met amazing activists who have been working on the ground without any kind of recognition, putting their lives in danger, especially working on peace building. And extremism in Pakistan means that you are prone to being killed, and that's a fact. Many of my friends, I've lost 3 of my comrades to bomb blasts and targeted assassinations. I've seen amazing bravery in boys and girls, in women and men, in mothers and fathers, fighting extremism, you know. And it gives me hope, apart from these stories that they are contributing in their communities. For example, you might have heard about the sad incident that happened in Chalas, where a public transport was stopped. Some people belonging to the one sect, the Shia sect, were made to stand in a line and they were shot. The others were let go. When I heard this story, we protested. We protested in front of the parliament, we protested in Lahore and Karachi. But when I went there, I got to meet some people who actually prevented a bigger massacre from taking place. How? There were other buses coming behind this particular bus. And this one guy, his family, they come from a Sunni family. They said, okay, this massacre has taken place, it's a sectarian issue, but we as a community should stand up. So they invited the rest of the 2 buses in their own dera. You know, dera, their own compound. The militants saw those buses diverting, they saw them entering a dera, and they could see beyond the wall. And they said, there are 2 buses here and more than 60 people have entered this house, this dera, and we should chase them and we want to kill them because they belong to a different sect. And these militants came to their house. The entire family took a stance. They said, listen, if you want to kill them, you will have to kill us too. We are not from their sect, but we are from this region. We will stand up for them. If you want to kill them, you have to kill the women and the children with us. So that stance that the family took and prevented the lives of 60 people there, that is Pakistan to me. That is the foundation of Pakistan, you know. And stories like this, very emotional stories in which people have been killed, but they have been victims of one series that we are doing as a social media campaign is survivors of terrorist attacks. These are the people who have been in attacks and still are doing work, and after the initial trauma still have the courage to talk about peace in this country and to talk about hope in this country. Amazing stories. I mean, if I start, it wouldn't end.
Well, like Ali, I and my team have great stories at Black Box, the company which is making this travelogue, and whenever they come back from Gilgit-Baltistan or Sindh, and they say, "Oh my God, we met this girl," and I'm saying, "Shh, don't tell anyone. Wait, let this be." And these are beautiful bunch of boys and girls, elderly, young men, women, transgenders, gays, lesbians, who are doing immense great work in this country. But that is not filmed and brought out with their own identity, and that is exactly what we are planning and going to do. One thing which I after you told this, the story of that Sunni family standing in front of a Shia family, and I firmly believe that, to me, the history of this land did not start 63 years ago. Some people say Pakistan का वजूद तभी आ गया था अमल में जब मोहम्मद बिन कासिम आया था. For me, even the story doesn't even start from Muhammad bin Qasim. For me, the story of this land, the history of this land starts 5,000 or maybe 7,000 years ago. And that is the narrative. That is the real story and history of this land that we have to reclaim. The real narrative of this land has been hijacked. We do not need to bring up a counter narrative. I sometimes do not like this term. oh, let's have a counter narrative. This is a project of. What counter narrative are we talking about here? This has been our own narrative. We just have to reclaim it. We have been living this land with Hindus and Sikhs and Jews and Parsis and Christians and who not. We just have to reclaim it. And Dil Say Pakistan, for me, is one small little drop of rain for that.
And I think for me, one of the most exciting aspects is the fact that we are highlighting these wonderful heroes and role models. And unfortunately, the youth of Pakistan have not had enough positive role models. We've got some fantastic role models out there, but there's also a lot of negative role models. I mean, you have corrupt politicians, and sometimes you have some of the beloved cricketers involved in match fixing, other people involved in corruption. Then sometimes some of the religious leaders giving out espousing extremist views. So it's so important to highlight some of these people who are brave, who are standing up, who are really can be examples for the youth of Pakistan to take us forward. So for me, that's one of the most exciting aspects. There are people doing incredible things in Pakistan and very inspiring things.
Yeah, actually, it's something that we never explore because the greatest blame is media, but media is all satellite television based on the business module, where if there are not many rating points they earn, they are not going to get business. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we don't get to hear such stories. We always get to see masala stories on television, but these stories are the only hope left for us. That's like, I might be being so pessimist about it, but I think that's the last tier. If we don't recognize that tier, if we don't acknowledge that tier, if we don't try to find out that tier on our own, I think that would be the most dangerous thing could have happened to Pakistan. It's not what is happening right now. We are still fighting. But if we don't ask such questions, if we do not find out who are the real people we need to stand with, I think that's where we need to put our effort. So Ali, if we let's come back to Dil Say Pakistan. So with this line, Dil Say Pakistan, how you have tried to engage with you? Like, it's difficult in current scenario. Like we say, even today when I came to the venue, I came really late. Last night we were at the venue, and the only news we were hearing was Mardan incident. So throughout the day I was thinking, how could I say something to be positive by watching that video all night long? So with such incident happening around us, while we are trying to do something positive, us trying to create a positive sphere for people, so how you have tackled that shift within the paradigm shift of two different situations all the time in the entire process, in the entire campaign?
There is an environment or a culture of urgency when we talk about persecuted communities in Pakistan and incidents like those. It's really horrible. But I found that after every incident of forced conversion of a Hindu girl to Muslim in Sindh, there have been tens and tens of protests. Even after this Mardan incident, right now, people are protesting in Islamabad Press Club, Lahore Press Club, Peshawar Press Club, even in Mardan. So these bunch of people, they're not many, by the way. I'm not talking about thousands of people coming up, taking a stance. These are only hundreds of people in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, right now protesting against the Mardan incident. So these people and these incidents then become a part of the story. The story of the resilience that Pakistani land, that Pakistani people have against this brutal onslaught of extremism that has never been a part of our culture, like Tawseeq Bhai said. For centuries and centuries we have coexisted, we have lived together. We were talking about humanism 700 years ago with our Sufis. I'm wearing a shirt. I designed it. It's a Bulleh Shah's quotation. Bulleh Shah existed 500 years ago. He talks about humanism, you know. So what happened after 70s and 80s? that all of a sudden we have become this people that we are lynching boys in university campuses, like what happened in Mardan. What happened? Obviously something wrong has happened. Something wrong happening is one thing. Identifying what should be done to take countermeasures is another thing. We know the wrong exists. Now this Dil Say Pakistan is a way, is a lens, is a perspective how to tackle the issue. And it's very hard to include such incidences and such, I would say, hopeless dots in our great campaign, which is mostly about positive Pakistan. But we always talk about it. Whenever we go to communities, we have a huge presence in KPK. We were in FATA last week. I was in FATA delivering a workshop there. We talk about these issues during our workshops, during our dialogues, even campaign against those in a very different kind of a way. So yeah.
So, Tawseeq bhai, how you are dealing with all that paradigm shift all the time? Like one day we are on a very highest note, PSL final, and the next day something of that sort happened. So the morale is up, and the morale is 5 times down, just because of such incident. So let me add a bit of different flavor to the discussion. What's your favorite dish when you are traveling to Pakistan?
Favorite drink? What?
Dish.
Dish.
Food.
I think biryani is like the standard. I mean, when you're traveling,
Yeah.
you can't experience too many dishes because it's bad for your tummy. Blah, blah, blah. Biryani is that standard that makes you feel good all the time.
Sir, yours.
Saji, I guess.
Saji, variety.
I would have to agree with Alizadi. I had a huge
Yeah.
biryani lunch this afternoon as well. That's why I'm also feeling lethargic. So yes, absolutely biryani. There's no substitute.
So during this tenure of this campaign, we have also one category on food culture. So there are people who are sending in films about different foods across Pakistan. So I get to introduce with at least 20, 26 different kind of foods that I never heard of. And maybe I never traveled into those areas before. So one of the very famous or very favorite dish of mine is chop shoro. How many of you, chop shoro or chop shoro from GB? So how many of you have eaten? Daniel, I'm sure you must have because you're traveling a lot. So how many of you? 2. So there is a lot happening. There is a lot you could experience and enjoy. So before chop shoro, biryani is my favorite too, but now chop shoro is my favorite dish. So that's what we are missing out. Again, I'm saying this particular sentence again and again, that we are missing out on so many things that exist in Pakistan, and we are not get any opportunity to explore such products, such food, such culture, such places. So just to wrap up the discussion, how you see the kind of impact Dil Say Pakistan could have or might already have created in some of the areas where we have been so far, and some of the area where we are going to go. So how you see this entire campaign going to turn out, like despite all the negativities around us?
Sure. So I think we haven't mentioned this, but Dil Say Pakistan is Pakistan's first transmedia campaign. Transmedia technically means that a story world tells a story. You tell a story from a story world, but it's told through different delivery channels. The story does not exist in its full form on any one platform. For example, the TV show has the story of Zulekha, who is an artisan in Sindh making amazing clothes for women. But to get a more broader version of the story, you need to go to the website and check how her life is like. And to see her impact and the work that she does in animation, you have to see the amazing animation that we're producing, that Aaron is producing. And to see one of her films, you have to see this. So this is a very novel concept, even in the media industry in Pakistan. We haven't hard launched, it's only soft launch, only social media pages. We have done events in about 11 cities right now. Just before the launch of the TV show, which is happening very soon, we will be going all out in about 10 cities across the country. I believe that there's a huge potential. We have we have made or engineered a community of practice already who believe in Pakistan, who want to do better, who recognize that there's something wrong, and who want to do better. So when we say we want to promote what we stand for, in that we are countering what we are against. If you are for human rights and equality, of course, you are against lynching and all those kinds of stuff. So I believe it will have a very huge impact. I believe it will be a point of reference in the future after 5 years when people refer to Do You Believe in Pakistan? Because the amazing stories that you will witness through this project, you wouldn't have witnessed anywhere else. So yeah, so it's my ambition that it becomes a point of history.
So, Tawseeq Saab.
What was the question?
So
Sorry.
how would you? So what I'm trying to ask is what do you have in mind? The kind of impact it could have created, or it has already created. Yeah. How the impact you're seeing of that kind of a product that is actually telling you the other side of Pakistan that people have not explored yet, and because of that we are consumed by the negativity in our surrounding.
I think for me the basic ambition under the flag of Dil Say Pakistan is reclaiming our narrative, reclaiming our strength, reclaiming the original identity of this land, which is called Pakistan. One. And secondly, I'm actually really looking forward to the stories which our viewers are going to send in after watching our shows. When I say shows, I mean the animation done by Aaron or the travelogue done by myself and my team. Because we were in Sindh for 2 months and we were in Gilgit-Baltistan for 1 month. But I'm actually looking forward to the stories which people are going to film on their smartphones and send on our website. Because the Pakistan that we are filming for you has another picture, but the Pakistan that you, the Pakistanis in again Ghotki and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan and Hunza are going to film will be the real Pakistan, and that will be the narrative that I'm talking about for the last 1 hour now. So I'm actually really looking forward to that narrative, which is not going to be produced by Ali, which is not going to be produced by Abrar, which is not going to be produced by Sharmeen Ubaid Chunai, which is not going to be produced by Aaron, which is not going to be produced by myself, but which is, after coming under the banner of Dil Say Pakistan, is going to be produced by Pakistanis on their maybe smartphones or narratives or letters or whatever. So that is the Pakistan that we need to reach out to and bring out and bring forth in front of the world.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm very excited by this project. I remember when we were sitting together and devising ideas and sharing ideas and working on the way to get the transmedia element of it working together. There was so much incredible energy and creative ideas coming out. So I'm really excited and really looking forward to it. And I agree with Ali. I think that this will have a very strong impact. And there are so many different elements to it, which are very exciting. There's a virtual reality element to it. There's an animated TV series. There's a song. There's a music video. There's travelogue, and there's various on-ground activities which are very exciting. There's social media elements to it. There's major television channels getting involved. There's press getting involved. But for me, and our hope is that this goes beyond what we're doing, and then it's sustainable and it continues into the future, and that the youth of Pakistan embrace this and then continue with their own contribution going forward. So that's our hope, and we're excited by that.
Yeah, and in this entire process, and when we talk about when I talk about the same question, so it's difficult for, like, if I ask who's your hero to anybody, so they have few names that are famous. So the guard on your street who's guarding you all night long without sleeping all the night, I think that's your hero also. So nobody is giving that credit to that person. So there are heroes in your surrounding. There are heroes in every second tier of the society, but we have to recognize them. And if we look up to them, then we can create a better or healthy society. So the biggest challenge was when we asked them to identify a hero. So they always identify some of the policemen, some of the army men, some of the politicians, some of the famous figures on television or film. So these are the only heroes we have in our society. But I think we have more than them. And I think there are heroes within yourself. Ho sakta hai ki the people who are sitting here, there are some of the heroes are sitting right in front of us, and we never got to hear about them because they don't publicize their work. The people don't talk about them. So that's what Dil Say Pakistan is all about. Is